Hey there all you lovely people cruising YouTube, it's Lydia here with Lydia's Plate. Today we'd like to show you how we prefer to make our baked ribs. So if you'd like to have baked ribs on your plate, come along, we'll show you how we do ours. We raise our own pork, so our package of ribs may not look like what you're used to. The first thing we want to do is remove the really thin skin that's next to the bones. This usually pulls off really easily. Sometimes I have to tease it a little bit with a knife, but it usually comes off with just a little effort. This one gave me a little more trouble, but as you can see, as soon as I found a place to start, it came off pretty well. Once that's done, I prefer to cut them into serving size pieces of 1 or 2 ribs per piece. The next step is to coat the ribs with seasoning. I use a homemade rib rub, which I will include in the description box. How much seasoning you put on will depend on how much spice or heat you like. Some of us like a little more and some of us like a little less, so I make some of each. One recipe of this seasoning will do us for 4 to 6 meals of ribs, so I simply store the extra in a well-labeled Ziploc bag in the freezer. Maybe it wouldn't have to be in the freezer, but I just put it in there anyway because I prefer it. When I want to make ribs, I pour about a 1/4 cup into a bowl. I find it's easier to spoon a little seasoning out of the bowl over the ribs than fight with the Ziploc bag with one hand, especially because my other hand is dealing with meat and I don't want to have the opportunity or the risk of contaminating all my seasoning while trying to coat my ribs. Once the ribs are all seasoned, they get covered with tin foil and placed in a 300-degree Fahrenheit oven for a nice, slow bake for 4 hours. Four hours later, they are fall-apart tender and ready to have your favorite barbecue sauce broiled onto them. Because I try to be frugal and not waste, I reused the tin foil from covering them to line a cookie sheet. I don't want to broil them in the juices because the barbecue sauce won't stay on as well and it's messier. I know that smaller dish looks really burnt, but it wasn't as bad as it looks. It washed clean in the dishwasher just fine. That is after our dog thoroughly enjoyed giving it a pre-wash for me. So you'll see on some of these pieces that I'm scraping off some fat that I hadn't noticed earlier. That's also a personal preference of mine. Now for the sauce. Oh, yum. These ribs were so soft and tender. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us. We thoroughly enjoyed those ribs for supper. If you'd like more ideas of what to put on your plate, feel free to hit the subscribe button, the bell so that you don't miss anything, and the thumbs up if you really liked it. Please join us again next time for another episode of Lydia's Plate.